Bruce Springsteen's career has spanned more than 5 decades, and he's been very busy. Listen to this. He's won Grammys, an Oscar, and a special Tony Award for his music. And while he uses air quotes at the suggestion, he can now add director to his resume with the release of the movie Western Stars. It's in theaters right now. We caught up with the boss on his New Jersey farm where much of the concert film was made.
All right, here we go. There it is. It's a good place to shoot.
It looks like the movie. Bruce Springsteen transformed this more than 100-year-old barn into a concert hall, complete with 30-piece orchestra, for his new film, Western Stars.
Heading for heartbreaking pain.
It's part documentary, it's part concert, it's part love story to me. How do you describe it?
It doesn't quite have a genre because it's a mixture of a performance film. I'm stuck out as I go. But there's all these sort of meditative interstitial pieces where we made these little films in between each song that hopefully gives you a sense of deeper meaning of what they're about. Here we find my brother in heartbreak. It's just, it's a balance of those two things, and I don't exactly know, I guess it's...
Well, when you sat down to do it, what was your thought when you were doing it?
When you're doing it, you're not thinking about what it is.
Oh, okay.
You're just thinking about doing it, you know. And so, and how am I going to communicate on a deeper, better level with the people I've been talking to for 40 years, or 10 years, or 5 years, or however long you've been interested in our
40 years.
Our music.
40 years.
So at the time, you're doing it. You know, there's no box you're trying to fit into. So it all happened very organically, very similar to the Broadway play. The Broadway play, I was asked by President Obama to come and play at the White House, which I'd never done the last 2 weeks of his tenure there. And Patty says, yeah, you should go. And so I said, well, I don't want to bring the bands. That's too much, too big a hassle. Maybe I'll go and just play a few songs on my own. Yeah. And so I'd written the memoir, and so I said, well, I'll read from the book a little bit and I'll play a few songs. That's basically
that's how that happened?
Wow. And then after I did it, I played about 90 minutes of what became the Broadway play. The president got on stage and he said, gee, I know you did that just for here, but that should be a show.
Wow.
So I got to give him some credit. Yeah. Because on our way home, we said, yeah, that probably should be a show. And
Barack Obama, talent agent.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good at it.
This is the thing about you. You talk a lot about authenticity. Intro to Tucson Train. I spent my 10,000 hours and then some learning my musical craft. But I spent a lot more time than that, some 35 years trying to learn how to let go of the destructive parts of my character. They do not go easily into the good night. If I loved you, I felt a deep attachment to you. I would hurt you if I could. If it was a sin, I still have days when I struggle with it. I think after all the years of reflection and struggle that you have, you still find it a struggle.
But it never stops. I mean,
never?
No, of course not. That's life. You know, life. It's that way till you go into the box. I don't think it's supposed to stop. You know.
I know, but Bruce, I want to get to the point where I don't want struggle anymore. I just don't. Honestly, I just don't.
When you get there, let me know. Let me know how you got there. All right.
Western Stars features Bruce Springsteen's first collection of new music since 2012. It is also a nod to the Hollywood Western, with him in the title role. You write about the character, you describe him as a fading film star.
Yeah.
Now, are you talking in some way about yourself? Do you feel that about yourself, or is this just a character?
I hope not. I think every time you draw on a character, you draw on some part of yourself. You're using a lot of detail that has nothing to do with you or your life.
Yeah.
But you are mining a variety of different emotional veins to make, that's what people perceive as authenticity today. It's not necessarily the details of your song. It's the authenticity of the emotional life of the song that you're delivering. So I always try to make that ring true.
It's also Bruce Springsteen like we've never heard before. It's like it's country, but yet it's still you. Is that what you wanted to?
You're always trying to do that.
Are you always trying to do something different?
Yeah, well, what you try to do is the audience wants you to do two things. They want you to surprise them and make them feel at home simultaneously. And the better you can do those things at the same time, the further on down the road you get to go in your journey with your listeners, you know. Hey, I'm just traveling up the road.
It's funny, I was trying to explain it, and they said, Bruce Springsteen, he's from New Jersey. What does he know about Westerns? What does he know about horses? What does he know about cowboys?
Well, you got to come to the film to find that one out. I can't explain it to you.
Yeah, because they're thinking, no, that doesn't even make sense.
But I think when it comes to just sort of Western influence, I mean, the entire country grew up, certainly if you grew up in my generation, you grew up with Western films and Western stars and this whole myth of the West that filled popular culture in the 50s and 60s, particularly, you know.
Did you like Western movies, cowboy movies?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, of course, every kid did. You're talking in the 50s, I'm 8 years old, and you're watching all those, they had all the television serials that, Gunsmoke, Lawman. I used to be able to sing every one of those themes before they...
Bonanza?
Yeah.
He also calls Western Stars a love letter to Patti Scialfa. They got married in 1991 and have 3 children. We've been together for many years, but yet there is clearly an intimacy between the two of you. And it's not the go get a room, you two intimacy. It's just a very, very special intimacy that you've been together for many years, but yet there's still, the heat is definitely still there between the two of you. And we all like to see that.
We've been together for 30 years. It's so long, you've shared a lot. And Patty's been at the center of my life for the entire half of my life, you know, and provided an enormous amount of guidance and inspiration, and I can't overstate it. I've been lucky. So
you said, here's another quote from the movie about love. We're always trying to find somebody whose broken pieces fit with our broken pieces, and something whole emerges. That's beautifully said. What broken pieces are you working with still?
They're all over the place.
They're still there.
Of course.
Still there.
I think you can't have deep experience without error, mistakes, pain. That's all just a part of human existence. So what does art do in music? Music it's a repair shop. So I'm basically a repairman, and I'm trying to repair myself. If I do that well enough, I will help repair you while I'm doing it.
Well, Bruce Springsteen has been doing it for audiences around the globe for close to 5 decades now. I've been to a few Bruce Springsteen concerts. I've never seen you play less than 3 hours plus.
Okay.
I've never seen it. And I think people marvel that you can play as long as you can and still seem to enjoy it the way you do.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
You're there to deliver your best on any given night. Some nights it's better than others, but there's never a night when it's not all we have. Take a seat at the bar.
It's the kind of work ethic you'd expect from the man known as the boss. Why do they even call you the boss? Why? I don't even know that.
It was all an accident. It was
What do you
all
mean?
an accident. The band started it because I paid their paychecks, and that's how it started.
And they would say,
go see the boss.
oh. And that's how it started? It's that simple?
Had nothing to do with anything grander than that. So, but it's followed me
I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. Bruce Springsteen wrote about 40 songs before he decided on the 13 that would make up the album for Western Stars. The concert film is in theaters right this second. When we come back, Bruce Springsteen tells us why it was so important for he and his wife Patti to raise their family in New Jersey. He'll also share the joy of working with lifelong friends and react to President Trump giving him a shout out, and not in a good way.